So I wanted to make this video. I've been meaning to for a while. I did have some screenshots that I wanted to use, but not anymore. It was actually kind of recent when I got some of the screenshots I wanted to use, but I'm pretty sure you've heard this whole people want to be their kids' friends instead of parents thing a lot. So you probably already know what I'm talking about. But I did have some screenshots from some messages where somebody was talking about how they get what I mean because they've been seeing videos about boy moms, and I think they even mentioned the fact that a lot of people do have kids for their kids to be their friend, actually. Like I mentioned in a couple of videos from the situation with my older scapegoat sister that they drove crazy. I have one of them re-uploaded here, and actually I'm pretty sure in that one I mentioned how my older scapegoat sister fell down the common path of teen pregnancy after SA and all the other trauma from like just a dysfunctional family system. And how a lot of people have in their mind, aside from like either getting assaulted or wanting love, that when they have their kid is going to love them even though nobody else does, and their kid is going to be their friend, and their kid is going to be their protector. Because, like, even when my older scapegoat sister really started to fall apart, when people in the neighborhood were jumping her and beating her up at the dumpster, she wanted her 7-year-old son to be the one to protect her. And he would be the one to answer the door, and he would, all that different type of bull crap. And one of the points I'm mainly going to be trying to make is that typically when people say people want to be their kid's friend instead of their parent, really what it means is you want to abuse your kids how you're supposed to abuse your kids, and it's like a way to say that the kid is being bad or supposedly being bad because they're not getting beat up. That's what it really means when people say it. But like, somebody being their kid's friend actually never has any good ending or beginning for the kid. People say it like it's like something that benefits the kids so they're not sitting around getting beat up for stupid stuff all day, as if that's even like really helpful. But of course that's what people say discipline is. But it's like being your parent's friend means emotional incest, covert sexual abuse, full-blown sexual abuse, being a surrogate spouse. What else was it? Being the provider, like the jezebelic women that make their sons go sell drugs to pay their bills and stuff like that, or that sell their sons out especially to become rappers, or sell their kids out in general to provide for them. And what else was it? I'm forgetting a lot of stuff. Okay, hold up. Surrogate spouse, covert sexual abuse, emotional incest. There's some other ones that I'm now forgetting. But different things like that. All of that actually really weighs down on you, and it doesn't actually benefit you and keep you from getting quote-unquote discipline. It's actually just another way for your parents to abuse you, to be honest, just like the quote-unquote discipline is. Or the mainstream discipline. Because it's like, kind of like I always say when people try to say that the opposite of beating your kids up is neglect or not disciplining them. But the thing is, physical abuse and emotional abuse / emotional witchcraft is abuse, just like neglect is, which no discipline would be neglect. So, I mean, it's all abuse. But people try to, like, do the usual playing with definitions and stuff that people love to do. And something that I also always say is that when it comes to, like, teen pregnancy, the issue isn't even the age that people are getting pregnant. The issue is, one, the new laws that make it to where you don't have rights till you're almost 30. So you couldn't really do anything to try to support yourself or the kid. And really just the reasons people are getting pregnant. So like SA, looking for love in all the wrong places, wanting a friend, things like that. The age is kind of whatever. Like, people seem to forget that it wasn't even all that long ago where people are still getting married at 14 and dropping out of high school to work in factories and buying houses and cars. But like, especially with the laws that have been put in place since then that are anti-youth and like really oppressive. I mean, it could be definitely an issue because you can't do anything. Like, with less rights, that puts you at risk of being forced into abortions or forced to give your kid up for adoption, different things like that. And it's all really infantilized, and so, like, I mean, no one's really raised, and people don't really know how to do anything other than, like, sometimes being able to fit into the matrix enough, but I mean, that's not jack. So that's what really makes the whole having a kid thing really screwed up, because I mean, due to like generational trauma, as I talk about pretty often, a lot of the people 40 plus, they're deep into the feminine thug persona or some other type of MK Ultra, to where they're really like age regressed and stuck at a certain point in their life and living in a false self, reprobate minded, possessed. So I mean, even the people that are like 50s aren't even really in a place to have kids. Which, I mean, a lot of the people 40 plus had kids as teenagers due to being in bullcrap SA situations and stuff, so the men and the women. So it's like, that went how that went. But yeah, the issue isn't the age, but I can say definitely, due to the reasons that people are having kids as teens or really any age, I mean, they pretty much are just trying to have either an emotional punching bag or a friend, which honestly goes hand in hand. Like a lot of these jezebelic dudes, especially the ones 40 plus, they're like deep in the feminine thug persona. They're the usual Jezebel that treats everybody else like crap, especially the people that they're supposed to like quote unquote take care of or love or whatever. But they hold their abusers in the highest esteem, and commonly the abuser is their Jezebelic single mom. So they hold her in the highest esteem. She has him as like some type of surrogate spouse with a whole bunch of weird sexual abuse type stuff going on. And the dude probably still lives with his mom and is really age regressed. She's doing everything possible to make sure he never leaves. And it's like, the thing is, I mean, once she dies, then what is he going to do? He's going to be full-blown homeless. He's not going to be able to be hidden homeless anymore. And like, he's so broken and traumatized and infantilized, he doesn't know how to do anything for himself at all, not even cook. So then it's like, he's going to be in a really, really bad predicament. But anywho, yeah, that's like one example of the whole be your kid's friend thing. And I mean, these dudes also got the whole discipline thing that everybody loves, which is another reason that they're as messed up as they are, because they've been getting beat up their whole life. And it's like, you want to beat somebody up for quote unquote discipline and date your son at the same time and have him pay bills for you. And it's all really weird. People are really, really weird. And of course, all the dudes are going to be like on the down low scared of women and vice versa. But I mean, situations do commonly go a little bit different for different genders, but everyone's situation is different. But there's pretty much only like 2 to 3 outcomes that really anybody has from trauma. Because we're all still fundamentally the same, but I'm not even going to go into that. But yeah, I don't even know. I was about to say single moms are the new world order, but I mean, the breakdown in the family system is a really big agenda, as I always say. And child abuse is an agenda, not a coincidence. But what was I going to say? Then I know that there's like some people out there that'll get offended and they'll be like, I was a good single mom, or they'll be like, I had the best single mom ever. And to be truthfully honest, if you feel like you have to like jump in a situation if the shoe really doesn't fit, the shoe probably does fit. In fact, like I heard this girl say in ATL, if the train fits, ride it, whatever that really means. Regardless of how good you say it went or claim it went or pretend it went, it's still not the original design anyways. But I would say still though, I mean, even when people that have 2 parents, people are mostly raising themselves or being raised by like Korn and YouTube and Spider-Man spits on Elsa video, which honestly definitely is Korn material. It's actually really interesting that no one ever talks about how not only childhood porn addiction has been an epidemic or pandemic for forever, which I mention pretty often, But also these different little weird little bullcrap little videos to groom people or groom really infants into porn addiction if they're not already in like a screwed up situation where they've already been set in front of all types of crazy mess since they were in the womb pretty much. Like, you could probably even still find some Spider-Man and Elsa videos. And what really always threw me off is, what does Spider-Man even have to do with Elsa anyways? That's what really threw me for the loop. What in the world does Spider-Man have to do with Frozen? Like, Spider-Man and Elsa have baby Olaf, crap in toilet, eat crap out toilet. Spider-Man gets a divorce. Elsa's pregnant with 19 kids. Elsa cheats on Spider-Man with Batman, and Batman has the BBC. Or Joker gets Batman pregnant, Batman becomes Batwoman. But actually, no, the last one, because this one is very realistic. Well, it was definitely a thing. I don't know if it's a thing anymore. I mean, people haven't really been into Mario in like forever, but Mario and Luigi make out with Princess Peach all at one time. And this is what your kids are watching. Honestly, YouTube Kids is worse than regular YouTube. That's where all the crazy mess is. Where people that are exploiting their kids have their kids making weird little, crazy little, I don't even know what in the world. Like, when I was still living with relatives, my niece used to be on there watching some crazy stuff, and I was like, this is what, actually, no. So, like, as I mentioned before somewhere, me and my younger sister on my mom's side used to have a lot of inside jokes about different bullcrap that would happen. And this one time, my niece was like, okay, wait a minute, how do I even summarize this? So, there was a table, and there was a table leg, and my niece was like, obviously she was short because she was still like a baby, and she was holding onto the table leg, and then she like held on to it, and then she like walked around it, and then she like did like some type, it was some, I know this is gonna sound like really weird, and it was like really weird, but she did like some type of weird little stripper pole type thing with the table leg, and I was like, yeah, you guys need to figure something out, because I don't think YouTube Kids is not it, because I don't know. But then it's also like with the generational curses and generational marine spirits, I mean, they'll have you doing some weird stuff that you, of course, haven't even seen happening in your house, or maybe you have. I mean, definitely not that. That wasn't happening in the house. So it's like definitely YouTube Kids or just some generational demonic bullcrap. But there was that. And I remember me and my younger sister, I looked at each other and we were like, nah, this is not it. But that reminds me when I was in Slab City and like the possible trafficker dome dude had that like stripper pole in the front room. Well, I mean, I guess the whole dome was the front room pretty much. And I didn't even notice it till like a little while later. And I was like, is this a stripper pole? I don't even know how I missed that. Reminds me when I was in the Voodoo coat lady situation, I missed the blood all over the floor. But anyhow. It was kind of like, well, not kind of like, it was definitely like a light pole that somebody stole from somewhere and somehow dragged out there. And the funny thing was, it was like, if somebody was to actually like pull on that or anything, the whole dome would probably fall down. Okay, I'm about to go off into another rant. So this reminds me, or at least it gave me a memory of when like I was playing Beast games with my relatives. I think that's what the game was called. I played it a few times, and like you have to like hold on to stuff, and it was something with like a train station, and there was like a pole and like I don't know, I was trying to hold on to the pole, but then I like started to spin, and I mean, definitely my character had some upper body strength, I'll say that, but what was the point of the video? The point is, being your kid's friend doesn't benefit them, and it's not actually being a friend. It's being exploitative and abusive in all types of ways, and it usually leads to like parentification. Oh yeah, that's the other word I was looking for, along with the surrogate spouse thing. So I think I remember now. Parentification, sometimes even parental alienation, surrogate spouse, emotional incest, financial abuse. I'm missing something still. But yeah, so like people say you're being your kid's friend, but really you're just being a sexual abuser or like just weird. And oh yeah, enmeshment. That was the other thing, which goes on with emotional incest. Cause I haven't researched any of that stuff in like a long time, so I gotta like pull the different terms out of like the back of my head. Literally. So like you're being your kid's friend and then you're talking about how all your daughters have fat butts. That's pretty much what it leads to. And then your kids are depressed, and so they start watching Elsa and Spider-Man videos to cope. And then then you have to start planning your suicide when you go through your kid's search history and you see Elsa and Spider-Man get BBLs and use a bathroom. I'm not gonna lie though, those videos are a real thing, but like luckily I never watched it and I was already like past the age that was targeted to. But I don't know though. They used to have like millions of views, and I can't think of anybody else who was really watching that stuff, but like people who were into it and making it, and like babies, because that's really what it was for, unfortunately. But really though, like media and butt jokes were always really pedophilic, because it's like, I don't really think, I mean, it's really not funny, like Captain Underpants and stuff like that. I mean, I never found that stuff funny, but like, who really, does anybody really? Like some Sway Sway and Buse type stuff, talking about saving people with your butt. And honestly, that really sounds like, what do they call it, taking one for the team, but it kind of reminds me of when I was supposed to be like a sex rideshare token for runaways, but I mean, that's what somebody told me, that they were calling it a sex rideshare token, but just didn't sound good, because it's not good. Actually, no, that's not even what it was called. The show was called Breadwinners, now to think about it. But yeah, bullcrap. And SpongeBob was pretty similar, but I mean, obviously, SpongeBob is very Marine Kingdom-y anyways, so that should be pretty obvious. But the funny thing is, though, the same way Warner Bros. Told Diddy not to dress up as a Joker anymore, why didn't Disney or whatever in the world Spider-Man is under, I guess maybe Warner Bros. Too, why didn't they ever tell those random people to stop dressing up as Spider-Man and Elsa? Because I feel like, I mean, sure, Disney's agenda is to like hypersexualize and get kids interested in the occult, and it always was, but like, isn't the whole Spider-Man and Elsa eating crap out the toilet stuff a little too obvious?